Hey guys, it's Eric, and welcome to my special video. This is in celebration of my third Stomaversary. Last week I had asked you guys to send in questions that I would be answering in this video, so I'm going to get started. Alright, so the next question here is, how long do you leave it before you have to order supplies? That's a great question too. I use an app called Ostomy. And I use it actually to both track supplies and also track my appliance changes. I've done a review. I think I've actually done 2 reviews on it because one of them was like the initial version and then I had updated that. But it basically allows you to track your supplies on there and it'll tell you when you're getting low and that sort of thing. So you can kind of program that. Generally speaking, when I order supplies, I'll either order a month or 2 months worth depending on the situation. If I know that I may not be able to get supplies for a while or not be able to get them easily, then I'll usually order more. But I don't tend to get more than 2 months worth of supplies. Part of that, honestly, is because I try so many different supplies that I can't really stock up, 3-4 months worth, like I know some people do. So for me, it's just more convenient to be able to turn over those products quickly, and then that way I'm not stuck with, a lot of them. But generally speaking, I will wait till until I'm down to about 3 or 4 wafers, which is almost 2 weeks, before I order more supplies for the month or for the 2 months. All right, so the next question is, do you eat leafy salads? I miss eating raw spinach. I can eat raw cauliflower and broccoli, cooked carrots and green beans. For me, I eat anything. I eat anything I want. Salads happens to be something that I eat quite often, and it's no trouble for me now. But I feel like initially after my surgery, my digestive system was very sensitive, so I was more prone to getting blockages. I had to be really careful. I actually ended up in the hospital because of a blockage, and that was due to black beans, which I enjoy now. But salads came slowly. Especially the volume of salads and the type of salads. Some greens are easier to eat than others. The really dark leafy greens like kale or collard, I would even say romaine, spinach, that sort of thing, that tends to be harder to digest. So I started really slowly with those and then I worked my way up. I started with a lot of iceberg lettuce. They have Boston lettuce, which is really tender. There's red leaf lettuce and green leaf lettuce. They almost like fall apart in your hands. So those are very easy to digest. And I started off with those before I started moving on to things like romaine and spinach and that sort of thing. But, now, raw vegetables are not an issue. Raw fruit, that sort of thing, not an issue at all. I do have to be mindful of how I'm chewing, how I'm eating those foods. In some cases, I will cook food, or cook vegetables, I should say, and add them to dishes, and that makes it really easy to digest. But, there's a method to that, and I kind of learn what works for me. Now, I do have a video that I explain kind of like the post-op diet, and that's kind of how you ease your way into things. But I also have an article on, how to eat pretty much after that recovery period. And that talks about it just gives more tips on how to work your way into those more difficult to digest foods. So you should probably check that out. I'll have a link in the description below where you can find that article, and hopefully that'll help. All right, so this question is a tough one. Now, it is, what is the best appliance you've ever tested? Now, I've reviewed something like 50 plus products, and they range from clothing, like Ostomy clothing accessories, to pouch deodorants and things like that. But I've also tried a lot of appliances, 1 pieces, 2 pieces, bags with filters, bags without. I mean, you name it, I've probably tried it. And it's really tough for me to say what the best appliance is, because for me personally, what I find to be the best might be absolute garbage for somebody else. But I would have to say the best appliance for me just happens to be the one that I've been using regularly, and that's the Hollister New Image 2-piece. Now, if you've watched my review and you've read my review, you'll probably be scratching your head, because I really bashed Hollister on that product because I really didn't like the material that they were using. I really didn't like a lot of that. Fortunately, it's really only the material that's a huge problem. But I tend to wear clear bags, so that issue kind of goes away. But here's the reason why I feel that this appliance is the best for me. I like the simplicity of it. I like the fact that it just snaps together. There's no locks. There's no extra bulk to it. It's really easy to take off and put on. So, for a two-piece, that's pretty important. I find that the wafer fares very well for me. It doesn't cause me issues. My skin likes it. It is a tape border product that I use, so I don't get any irritation around the border. There's no cutting into my skin. There's no irritation like that. It handles movement really well. It doesn't peel for me. It does a really great job in that area. The filter for me personally just works the best from a lot of the brands that I've tried. Now, there are brands that come close, but if I'm looking at the entire package, I prefer this one. The outlet on it, even though I have to crease it to get it open, or else it's a pain in the ass to get open, that still, it closes fine for me. It's never leaked. It's never opened up or anything like that. It's never caused me any issues. Now, that's not to say it's a perfect product. Far from it. I can probably name 100 improvements that I'd like to see on it, but it happens to work really well for me, and it also happens to be one of the cheaper ones. So cost is also a factor when I'm determining what's the best product. I would have to say, personally, and I know a lot of people would probably agree, the Coloplast Sensor Mio is probably the most well thought of product that I've ever seen. There's a lot of features on there that you could really tell that a lot of time and effort went into seeing what ostomates want and then putting it into practice. And I think that for a lot of people that can wear the Sensor Mios and it works well for them, there's like no incentive for them to leave. For me personally, I didn't like the fact that the filter was a bit bulky. The filter didn't work for me. It didn't work very well for me. There's also the consideration that the wafer actually has animal products in it. That adhesive is made out of gelatin, so that's a big factor for me, and I don't really feel comfortable using a product like that if I have alternatives. So there were several things there that kind of added up into a package that I wouldn't have preferred long term, but I know a lot of people do. Now I'm going to answer this with a bit of extra information, because I know the question was, what was the best appliance you've ever tested? But I'm also going to extend this into what's the best kind of accessory that I've tested. And for me, and this is a product that I'm currently wearing, it's a product that I've been wearing for many months now after my review came out, but it's the Comfort Belt. And at the same time, I'll add /Stealth Belt, because they're very similar products. And they're basically support bands that allow me to wear my appliance horizontally. I find that it really improves my quality of life significantly more than other products, that are kind of meant to support your appliance, like, for example, Ostomy wraps, which are great, but I find that this is it's totally different product on its own. I like the convenience of it. I like the fact that it just feels comfortable. It supports my bag even when it starts to get full. It allows me to wear my clothes tucked in. It allows me to wear a seatbelt without much trouble. I can go on roller coasters without having to worry about wearing an ostomy guard most of the time. So there's a lot of advantages that have helped to improve my quality of life. So for me personally, that happens to just be one of my favorite products right now. But I'm sure, in the next several years, I'm going to be saying something different, because I know that there are a lot of new products coming out, and I'm actually really excited to see what comes out in the next 3 to 5 years. And maybe I might change my mind in the next video. But right now, those are my favorite products. Okay, so this is a great question. Having it for 3 years, do you feel reassured about your future, or do you worry about it more? That's actually something that I would say for the first year, was probably weighing heavy on my mind. And I know that for anyone that has Crohn's disease, or really any disease that prompted you to get an ostomy, I would have to say that there's always an uncertainty in the back of my mind. There's always that, what if? What if Crohn's comes back? Other people might say, well, what if cancer comes back? Other people might have a different health challenge. And there's always something kind of in the back of my mind saying, what if? What if that might happen? So that's definitely something that played a huge part in the first year, I would say. But, I've really learned to just go with the flow. This is the time that I have right now. I'm not having any health problems. I'm not having any issues that, put me in bed all the time. So I'm going to just do what I can. And, that's that. All right. So this is another question. Now, this is regarding preparing for surgery and kind of following surgery. And the question is, what or how many supplies should I have ready to be prepared when I come home from the hospital? Now, depending on where you live, this answer is probably going to be way, way different. But for me personally, I had surgery in Toronto. And when I was sent home, I was actually sent home with a care package that had a bunch of supplies in it. And then I actually had home nurses come for the first several weeks to tend to my wounds and stuff like that. And they actually came with like several weeks of supplies. So I was actually set for probably a month after I got home from surgery, and I didn't have to worry about supplies. I really got sent home with everything that I needed at the time. Now, if that's something that doesn't happen where you live, or the hospital that you're having surgery from, I would probably say, stock about a month's worth of supplies. But keep in mind that your stoma is going to be changing really quickly in the first month. It's probably going to be swollen, and it's most likely going to be shrinking within that month. So you're probably going to have to go through supplies much faster than you would normally. So keep that in mind. And depending on what your nurse says, you may be changing your appliance every day, every other day, multiple times a day. So that's going to vary depending on the surgery and what complications you have. But I would say, to be safe, I would try to keep a month's worth of supplies handy. But knowing that you're probably going to be changing to a different brand or different style of pouch after you've recovered. All right, guys, that's it for now. I hope those answers were to your satisfaction. I hope they were at least mildly entertaining. But if you've got any more questions, please feel free to ask. I will probably be putting together another video, just like a Q&A video like this. I actually really enjoy it. And so just stay tuned for that. But until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one, and I'll see you next year, probably for another Stomaversary celebration. Take care. That's tomorrow. And that's it for us today. Okay, I don't know whatever it is. It's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there it is. We're going to do Sting, yeah.
But I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay, ready?
There's no words there to play us out. What does that mean, to play us out?
It's Sting. Sting's going to it's a video, Sting video.
What is?
For credits.
I don't know what that means, to play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go. Go.
And 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that's it.
And again, 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that's it for us today. And we'll leave you with a... I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay, oh, no.
We'll do it live! It. We'll do it live. I can write it. We'll do it live. Thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that's it for us today. I'm Eric. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting, a cut off his new album. Take it away.